Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for this album review. I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can because I got to get going to work in like 30 minutes. So, pretty much, let's dive right into this album review for Beyond Unbroken Destruction. So, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the 10 tracks that I got done listening to and let you know my thoughts on it. So, let's dive into this review. Now, it starts with The Madness, and from what I listened to when it first came out in February, I was really impressed with this track. Um, this was a pretty heavy song for sure. Monty Money's clean vocals in the background when the chorus gets introduced is pretty good, but Michael Money's screaming potential is pretty amazing in this track, so I really do dig this song. This is one of the best tracks to open up the record, and this is a 5 out of 5 for me. Then you get Dance with the Dead. This one was the last single, and keep in mind they dropped 8 out of 10 songs already before release date, so they've already given us 80% of this record. 80 to almost 90% of this record. So, yeah, it's not a good thing to spoil a record that much. Sorry about the background noise, that's my nephew. So, with what I listened to with Dance with the Dead, I think it's a strong song for sure. Monty Money's singing in the majority of the track, and then Michael Money is screaming in the background. But overall, it's a good song. 5 out of 5. Blood on My Hands was my personal favorite songs. My personal favorite song. I said songs by mistake. I really enjoyed Michael Money screaming, but Monty Money's clean vocals were outstanding in this track. This track came out last November, and it was a great song when it first was introduced, and I really enjoyed this as a single. This was a great song. A strong 5 out of 5 for this track. Destruction's a pretty good one too, as the title track, and I really dig it for how it sounds. So 5 out of 5 for this one too. The drumming in it is pretty strong. The guitar work is good. Monty Money's vocals are pretty good in this track with his clean vocals, and Michael Money's screaming and the majority of it is amazing. This is a great track. The mixing is well done, and execution-wise, it performed very good. 5 out of 5. Monster is the next track, and it's a pretty good song, but the mixing is fine for what it is. It tends to be a little repetitive with how he says monster a few times. But overall, it's not terrible. It's just I have my opinions about it. But I think it's a good song. It's not terrible mixing-wise, so 4.75 out of 5. Lost and Broken was a strong track when I first heard it back in July. Like, at the end of July, it came out, and it was a great track, for sure. I like how it opens up. Tell me I'm lost, feels like I'm falling, don't leave me cause I'm lost and broken. So, really amazing lyrics, and just overall the execution with Michael Money's screaming potential and Monty Money's clean vocals are amazing in this track. So this track worked for how it sounded. 5 out of 5. My Life was a single as well. It came out in mid-April, close to late April. And I don't hate it, but I don't know how I feel about the verses in this track. The electronic music in the background and the trap music stuff that they did. The trap beat stuff, I don't know if I'm feeling for it. But execution-wise, it's fine. And it plays it in a good way. Plays it safe, so 4.75 out of 5. Last Goodbye was a pretty nice song. Pretty mellow too, but it works very well. So you get 3 of the strongest last tracks, but overall, I think Last Goodbye is going to get a 5 out of 5. Halo's pretty good in its own way. I don't necessarily hate this. This was the second last of the singles to drop for before this record came out. I know it dropped in like October sometime, like early October, but overall, it's pretty good in its own way, but some of the mixing in it is hit or miss. But overall, 4.75 out of 5. Then we close it out with Oceans. Great song by Monty Money singing in this track. Very mellow, very melodic. You could definitely feel for this track and feel like you're soaring through an ocean and just basically being one with the waves and all that. So that's how it makes you feel. And this track is a pretty nice and a captivating song that I really enjoyed. I was really interested in this track when it first came out in September, and I was really amazed with Beyond Unbroken was trying something different with their music. So for this, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Great closing track, great way to end this record. So overall production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Beyond Unbroken Destruction, this new album, it was worth the wait, but I think they spoiled it a bit too much. Not saying it in a bad way, because I know uh, there are some critiques I have with this record. Not to the extent where I hate it necessarily. I just think Monster, My Life, and Halo are the only ones that brought the rating down a little bit. But I wouldn't say they're terrible tracks. They're pretty good songs, but they play it a little too safe with how it's executing. But everything else is pretty strong from this record, and it did very well. So for the 8 singles, I think they did spoil it a bit too much and kept fans not wanting to wait too long. Well, we were waiting a little long for this record, to be honest. I think this record should have been out like sooner, but hey, you get what you get. You get it when you get it, I guess. But for what it is, it's just a good record. It's a really good record. So I would give this a 9 out of 10 for Beyond Unbroken Destruction. It's well deserved for a 9 out of 10. It's a really strong record. I was impressed with the mixing, and there were a few critiques I had with this that did bring the rating down a little, but not to the extent where I hate this album. I really like this album. I would definitely come back to this and revisit it a lot. It's worth checking out, and definitely check this album out when it comes out at midnight. So for a score for me, 9 out of 10, like I said, for Beyond Unbroken's new record, Destruction. I hope you enjoyed this album review this afternoon. I gotta get going to work, so with that being said, I'm gonna close it out here by saying thank you so much for watching this Beyond Unbroken Destruction album review. I'll have more album reviews coming out tonight or tomorrow. Mostly during a little bit of tomorrow, but I gotta do some chores tomorrow too, so I might not get to everything, but I'll get as much as I can done. And with that being said, thanks for watching this album review today.